How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Shifting Lanes. My name is Hanson. Thank you so much for tuning in, and welcome to another episode of Before You Buy. This is a segment where I talk about the car's features that I like, some that I don't like, what it's like to drive, so on and so forth. So hopefully you can make a better decision before you go visit the dealerships, take it for a test drive, and potentially buy the car. So without further ado, let's get going. This is the 2019 Nissan Maxima Platinum Reserve. That's right, this thing's been plucked, processed, and aged in the basement somewhere for the past 7 years. No, this is the top-of-the-line Nissan Maxima. This is the largest sedan in Nissan's lineup. And the difference between the Platinum and the Platinum Reserve is basically it's got extra exclusive features like this Rakuda tan semi-aniline leather surfaces on the seats, and it feels like you're sitting in a baseball catcher's mitt. This car starts at just over $34,000 for the base Nissan Maxima and tops out just shy of $44,000 for the top-of-the-line Platinum Reserve. So let's start with the features that I like about this car. First, it's got that 300 horsepower VQ engine. That's a 3.5 liter. Now, this engine has been sitting in a bunch of different Nissans, and it's been used for the longest time. So you know that you've got bulletproof reliability out of this engine. And you can find these engines in old 350Zs and also Infiniti G35s, which you'll now find in the drift circuit. So if that engine is good enough for a bunch of drifters, this is going to be plenty for your commuting. The next thing I like with this car is that it's packed with features. First of all, this comes with Apple CarPlay. And I just love any car that has Apple CarPlay. It's the most up-to-date infotainment layout. If you don't want to use Apple CarPlay, it does come with a very intuitive infotainment display. This thing has a decent enough screen, which has good pixel density, and you can manipulate it with this knob that's a lot like the BMW's iDrive. And just like all Nissans, this thing comes with an available 360 panoramic surround view monitoring system. That is a great feature to have, very helpful when you're parallel parking and just trying to squeeze around tight spaces. This also has heated and ventilated seats and also a heated rear seat. That is something that's available in the upper trims. So very nice luxurious features that you normally find in cars that are much more expensive than this Nissan Maxima. And of course, this has all of the other safety stuff. This has automatic emergency braking. This has lane departure warning. It has adaptive cruise control and also blind spot monitoring. Another thing I like about this car is also the transmission. Now, I'm not a fan of CVT transmissions. I think they're the worst type of transmission, but Nissan's been in the CVT game the longest, and I think they've perfected it over the many decades that they've produced the CVT. So this CVT feels a lot more like an automatic transmission under normal loading. Yes, you run into the CVT tendencies at those extremes where you're driving a little bit aggressively. It does sound a bit loud in those cases, but when you're just doing your normal commuting, it feels like a traditional automatic. It doesn't sound buzzy or loud or annoying or anything like that. And of course, the best part of a CVT is that it's very efficient. This thing gets about 20 city and 30 highway. So kind of like middle of the road mileage performance. Not the worst, it's absolutely not the best. If you're shopping around for large sedans like this, you'll find some hybrid examples, of course, and you'll get way better mileage with those other cars. And another thing I like about this car is the styling. Now, sedans aren't the best looking vehicle designs out there. It's kind of bland, it's kind of boring. It doesn't look like a sports car, no matter what Nissan tries to tell you that this is their four-door sports car. It's just not an interesting looking design. But Nissan has done a really good job trying to make this car look more aggressive and interesting. Aggressive because this car has bulging fenders and a sculpted hood. It's got expressive wheel arches, and it's got this V-motion grille that looks like it's lunging forward like an athlete. And the car looks interesting because it's got that floating roof design. You've got that blacked out A-pillar and blacked out rear section. And it's also got character lines that are very interesting looking along the side to give an illusion that this car has a lower belt line. So yes, this is a fairly large car, but they've done a lot of really interesting tricks to make this car look sleeker and lower to the ground. But most importantly, please let me know what you think about the styling. You have eyeballs, you can make the decision for yourself whether this car looks good or not. So please let me know in the comments below. So I've talked about the features that I like. Let's talk about the features that are missing and the stuff that I don't like so much about the 2019 Nissan Maxima. First of all, I wish it had the Nissan ProPilot Assist. The Nissan Altima that I reviewed has the ProPilot Assist. So ProPilot Assist, it's basically, that's level 2 automation. The gist of it is that the system can take care of acceleration and deceleration, but also steering. So I was able to drive that Altima on the highways for long stretches without significant input. But this Nissan Maxima only has the more rudimentary systems, which requires a lot more driver input. Their lane departure warning doesn't actively steer or correct the car as much. So I wish that the Nissan Maxima has the ProPilot, but I think it's just a matter of time before it gets introduced in the rest of the vehicle lineup. When it comes to the ride, it's great. I love this car because it's so comfortable and it's great for long drives, but when it comes to the handling, it's just, They call this the four-door sports car, and I think Nissan forgot what the definition of a sports car really is. For a company that made the 370Z and the venerable GTR, this is totally a big slap in the face of those two cars. Those are dedicated sports cars. They're great. They shred the back roads, and they're totally fun to drive. But with this car, yeah, it's fast. I mean, it's got a 300 horsepower engine, but it's just okay to drive. It's not that exciting, and it's really a combination of the not so great body roll, the seats that don't really hug you, and just that lack of neural connection to the road between you, the steering, and the road, and the rubber, and so on and so forth. Four-door sports car, it's just a marketing thing. Other small things I don't like about this car so much is that the Platinum Reserve trim doesn't come with paddle shifters. That's something that you could find in the SR trim. That's the sportier trim, which comes with a sport tune suspension. Other things I don't like is this A-pillar is huge. It's not just the A-pillar, but it's the combination of that and also the side view mirrors. When I'm trying to turn, this thing just blocks out a big portion of the road. And lastly, there's no all-wheel drive in the Nissan Maxima. Now, personally, I think that the right set of tires is the most important thing, but depending on where you live, if you don't have all-wheel drive, then you're gonna have a bad time. So overall, this Nissan Maxima has a really nice set of features. This has Apple CarPlay, comfortable seats, beautiful looking interior, and aggressive looking exterior. It also has that awesome VQ engine that makes 300 horsepower, and you know that engine's going to be super reliable and last a long time with proper maintenance, of course. The mileage is just a middle of the road, 20 city, 30 highway. It's decent enough, but given that you could seat 5 comfortably in here and it's going to be super nice on long trips, this is a car that you want to take for those super long vacations, and you could fit a lot of stuff in here. And lastly, this car totally lives short of the four-door sports car mentality. Purely just a marketing term, and to be honest with you, I think the Nissan Altima fits that bill a lot better. With that said, if you found this video helpful, please consider giving it a like, hitting that subscribe button, and also hitting that notification bell so you can get notified anytime we make a new video. There's a lot of stuff going on the Shifting Lanes channel. We review new cars just like this one. We also have project cars, and we go to driving events, so if you're interested in any of that, please give us a subscribe. With that being said, I'm going to wrap the video up right there. This has been the 2019 Nissan Maxima Platinum Reserve. My name is Hanson, and I'll see you next time.